Hi, I'm Shanika Center. I'm the virtual content specialist for middle school science for English language learners and multilingual learners. Today's video is going to be a video supporting students through the research station 6 and 7 that they're going to have to complete for Unit 5, Day 14. Hi, I'm Shanika Sandra. I'm the virtual content specialist for middle school science for English language learners and multilingual learners. Today, we are going to go through these stations for Day 14's lesson. Previous lesson, you completed stations 1 and 2, and then next video, you completed 3 and 4. This is the final set of stations that you must complete for this lesson sequence. So station 5. Let's review some vocabulary that you're going to need for the text. So resilience is the ability to overcome difficulties and challenges. So when something is hard, someone may show resilience by continuing to work and fight through to overcome the challenge. Another vocabulary term you're going to need to know is locally extinct, and this just means being extinct or completely gone in one area. Pikas have shown their resilience in the face of danger, but pikas may not be able to adapt to the increasingly warming world. Human activities are causing temperatures to rise. As temperatures rise, pikas are leaving their habitats and moving to cooler places to escape the heat. Researchers at the University of California, Santa Cruz, studied 67 locations with pikas. They found that pikas have disappeared from 10 of these locations. These poor pikas are struggling. 2014 was confirmed as the hottest year on record. Pikas are at risk of local extinction. When summer temperatures are too high, pikas are forced to stay underground to avoid overheating. They spend less time looking for food, and so they have less to eat. This increases the chance of local extinction. Moving up mountains is an option for these pikas. They are well adapted to the cold temperatures at high elevations. However, this could be just as bad for the pikas. They are uniquely adapted to cold temperatures, but these same adaptations make the species more impacted by global warming, according to scientists. Researchers have found that by 2070, pikas will be locally extinct in 88% of their habitats in California. This is bad news for pikas and for other local wildlife as well. Pikas are prey to many species and change plants and soil when looking for food. Pikas are a model organism for studying climate change, and their decline at low elevation sites suggests that the future for other species is not great either, scientists said. The problem is that climate is changing faster than species can adapt or disperse to new sites. So now you're going to answer these questions in your packet. What human activities are affecting the environment in this example? What is the effect on the pikas environment throughout California? How is this change in environment affecting pikas? What trait variation could you see helping the pikas adapt to this new environment? What happens if this genetic variation never appears in the population? Explain this entire process in terms of natural selection. You can use the blue sentence starters to help you formulate your answer. Station 6. Before we get started, let's review some important vocabulary terms for this station. Non-heritable, something that is not heritable. So, in other words, this is something that cannot be passed down from parent to offspring. In this example, the mom and dad have dyed their hair blue. In other words, they changed their hair color from brown to blue. This blue hair color will not be passed down to their offspring. This is because the blue hair is not in their DNA. So something that is non-heritable is not in an organism's DNA. Benefit is the good thing about something. So for example, the benefits of sleeping, it improves your brain function, it improves your mood, and it reduces the risk of heart disease. So benefit, the good things that come along when you do something else. So we're going to watch a video for this station. To help you organize your thoughts, you're going to complete this chart. The video is going to talk about 5 different species of organisms. As you watch, you're going to answer these questions. What adaptation did the organism develop to survive in this new environment? What benefit did this adaptation provide the species? And how did the habitat of this species change? So as you watch, you're going to answer these 3 questions for each of the species. Let's get started.
Rising temperatures in seas, massive droughts, changing landscapes. Successfully adapting to climate change is growing increasingly important. For humans, this means using our technological advancement to find solutions, like smarter cities and better water management. But for some plants and animals, adapting to these global changes involves the most ancient solution of all: evolution. Evolutionary adaptation usually occurs along timescales of thousands to hundreds of thousands of years. But in cases where species are under especially strong selective conditions, like those caused by rapidly changing climates, adaptive evolution can happen more quickly. In recent decades, we've seen many plants, animals, and insects relocating themselves and undergoing changes to their body sizes and the dates they flower or breed. But many of these are plastic or non-heritable changes to an individual's physical traits, and there are limits to how much an organism can change its own physiology to meet environmental requirements. That's why scientists are seeking examples of evolutionary changes coded in species' DNA that are heritable, long-lasting, and may provide a key to their future. Take the tawny owl. If you were walking through a wintry forest in northern Europe 30 years ago, chances are you'd have heard, rather than seen, this elusive bird. Against the snowy backdrop, its plumage would have been near impossible to spot. Today, the landscape is vastly different. Since the 1980s, climate change has led to significantly less snowfall, but you'd still struggle to spot a tawny owl, because nowadays, they're brown. The brown color variant is the genetically dominant form of plumage in this species, but historically, the recessive pale gray variant triumphed because of its selective advantage in helping these predators blend in. However, less snow cover reduces opportunities for camouflage, so lately, this gray color variant has been losing the battle against natural selection. The offspring of the brown color morphs, on the other hand, have an advantage in exposed forests, so brown tawny owls are flourishing today. Several other species have undergone similar climate change adaptive genetic changes in recent decades. Pitcher plant mosquitoes have rapidly evolved to take advantage of the warmer temperatures, entering dormancy later and later in the year. Two-spot ladybug populations, once comprised of equal numbers of melanic and non-melanic morphs, have now shifted almost entirely to the non-melanic color combination. Scientists think that keeps them from overheating. Meanwhile, pink salmon have adapted to warmer waters by spawning earlier in the season to protect their sensitive eggs. And wild thyme plants in Europe are producing more repellent oils to protect themselves against the herbivores that become more common when it's warm. These plants and animals belong to a group of about 20 identified species with evolutionary adaptations to rapid climate change, including snapping turtles, wood frogs, knotweed, and silver-spotted skipper butterflies. However, scientists hope to discover more species evolving in response to climate change out of 8.7 million species on the planet. For most of our planet's astounding and precious biodiversity, evolution won't be the answer. Instead, many of those species will have to rely on us to help them survive a changing world or face extinction. The good news is we already have the tools. Across the planet, we're making on-the-ground decisions that will help entire ecosystems adapt. Critical climate refuges are being identified and set aside, and projects are underway to help mobile species move to more suitable climates. Existing parks and protected areas are also doing climate change checkups to help their wildlife cope. Fortunately, it's still within our power to preserve much of the wondrous biodiversity of this planet, which, after all, sustains us in so many ways.
Now that you watched the video and completed your chart, you're going to answer these questions in your packet. What human activities are affecting the environment in this example? What is one example of how climate change is affecting the environment? In your example above, how is this change affecting plants or animals? Explain this entire process in terms of natural selection. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your teacher.